Right down there, there's some birds. I mean, that's so critical this time of year. You see those birds, I saw them blowing up right where those birds are at right there. We're gonna run down there real fast. These fish will get grouped in real small stretches on these shallow bars, so we're gonna zip down there real fast and try to make some magic right there. Because I seen them busting and they look big. Right now I've got big flats, I got a lot of scattered grass, I got a little bit of wind, and burning a spinnerbait works real well, you know. Guys love swim baits. They like bladed swim jigs. They're using a lot of other things, but a spinnerbait is still hard to beat. It covers more water. You can find those aggressive fish, but there's a whole lot more to it than just casting it out there and reeling it back fast. So, you know, first and foremost, you know, you got to have a spinnerbait that's designed for a faster retrieve. So this is a, you know, a 1/2 ounce Straight King Scorcher spinnerbait. You can see I've got a blue shad color on there. It's very translucent. It's natural for this clear water conditions. It's got 2 small razor blades. They're narrower than a standard willow blade. They displace less water and allows you to reel it faster and keep it under, you know, underneath. The other thing is this head design is built for speed so that bait stays straight up and down. It doesn't really tilt in the water like this, like a lot of spinner baits. It stays straight like this. It's got a little heavier wire, and that'll tolerate the speed of a high-speed reel like this and burning that bait right underneath the water. So again, just casting it out there and reeling it fast is gonna get you some bites. But what I want to try to do is really make the fish react to it. Look that right there. I was just changing my retrieve speed, and that fish just hammered it. That's a good one too. Good solid keeper. You know, right now we're on Kentucky Lake and it's the fall of the year and the fish really get on shad. And you can throw a lot of baits, you know, you can catch them with top water, again, swim baits and things, but to cover these big grass lines, it's hard to beat that spinnerbait. And all I was trying to do right there is look out there. I'm looking with my polarized glasses. I can see some clumps and things. I kind of want to time it right as that lure comes up to a clump where I can just burn it. One of the big things with a spinnerbait is to make sure that the fish see it, but don't get too good a look at it. So just reeling it, you know, up high in the water column helps you do that. You got the bait up against the surface. Here we got a little wave action that's kind of breaking up the outline, but I want to really try to make those fish react to it. So if I see a clump of grass, if I can speed that reel up and flare the skirt and the blades, a lot of times I can trigger them into biting. So that's what I like to do. You know, here on these super shallow flats, I'll reel it along and then just burn it so that the blades break the surface of the water and then just let it flutter. You know, every 10 feet, I want to change that speed of that spinnerbait a little bit, make that bait work for you. You know, you don't cast a plastic worm out and just reel it straight in. You work it, you shake it, you jig it. A spinnerbait is no different. You want to add a lot of action to it. You know, you can just reel it along slow and steady, and when they're really aggressive, they're going to bite it. But boy, changing the speed, speeding it up, killing it, letting it flutter, that's what triggers them to bite. I want to keep this lure right underneath the surface. So for the shallowest situations, I start with a 1/2 ounce. I mean, this bait is built for speed, and I don't want them to get a good look at it. So that 1/2 ounce weight is perfect for even a foot of water, 2 foot of water like that, because I gotta keep it moving. If I used a 3/8 ounce bait, it'd just come right to the top. So as I get to a little bit deeper water, I'm gonna go up to a 3/4. You know, a 3/4 with a little bit bigger blades, I can keep the speed and get it down a foot or 2 underneath the water. So important with a spinnerbait to keep it above the fish's line of sight. You always wanna be fishing it over the top of where you think the bass are at. You know, I'm not ever taking this spinnerbait and getting it down on their level where it's actually hitting the bottom or the rocks and things like that. That's not what this technique's all about. When you're trying to trigger neutral fish into biting, you got to do something erratic with your lure to make that happen. So changing the speed of that retrieve is a critical aspect.